What's going on, guys? Beast of Ishtar here, and I just got done finishing up the dev stream, and I wanted to bring to you guys the quick little rundown of what's going on with the hotfix. But before we begin, if you guys can just leave a like to support the channel and consider subscribing for more Gwent content, that'd be awesome. So let's jump right in. So the first thing they talked about was changing weather. They changed Biting Frost. Now it does the lowest unit on the row by 2. They changed Fog to reflect the highest unit by 2, and then they changed Torrential Rain by the damage up to 5 on the lowest of the lowest units on the row by 1. So I think that's a pretty healthy change. We can't wait to see what's going on with Aeromancy. They you can no longer play a bronze or silver weather card from the graveyard, only from the deck. So that's a bit more balancing. Again, it was an hour stream, so we're going to try to go through this as quick as possible. Skellige Storm, it no longer does 3-2-1, it does 2-2-1 now. So that's a little bit more balanced. That's all that they were really focusing on in this. By the way, was just balancing things. Stammelford's Tremors, one of my favorite cards, no longer does 8 random enemies, only does 6. So that's pretty interesting. Can't wait to test that out and see how it's going to be from 16 to a 12. Overdose got a significant change. It's now boost up to 6 random enemies, or excuse me, 6 random allies by 2. Blood Curdling Roar. The bear itself is now doomed, so it can't be resurrected, and it goes from an 12 to an 11. So that'll be make it where they can't Priestess of Freya him. Decoy and Alzur's Double Cross, and probably Marching Orders, cards like that, they boost now instead of strengthen. Olgierd and Morgvarg are both 9, but when they're resurrected, they're halved now instead of just by 2 or 3 respectively. Villain Trenton Mirth is now an 8, and it only does the destruction 1 time, so it only scorches 1 time. So that was a pretty cool. I actually like this change a little better. Let's see. Avalok, he's going down from a 10 to an 8. So I don't really see why they made him an 8, but if it helps. Renew, I totally called this one. It would only resurrect a gold unit from your graveyard. So no longer will you be able to resurrect a unit from your opponent's graveyard. Roach will now come out when the gold unit is played, but before the effect finishes. So I don't think you'll be able to Dandelion her anymore. Excuse me, Johnny, he now makes it where if you discard a gold and your opponent doesn't have a gold, the gold goes back to your hand. So you won't lose your gold for discard. Regis, they made it where you can only consume the base power of the unit. So that's, I think Regis is no longer going to see a lot of play as much as he was. Radovid, now we're going back into Northern Realms here. Radovid was just buffed from a 4 to a 5. Still would like to see him be able to lock gold units, but Shani, it went from a 3 to a 4, and she now offers 4 armor instead of 3. So that's pretty cool. I can't wait to test her out with that. I think that'll be a healthy change. Priscilla, if it's as it states here, then I'm correct on calling this as well. She no longer disappears into the deck once she's done, if I'm reading that right. Cadwini Sergeant, for non-machines, they don't get armor. And then the all machines, they no longer ignore armor. So if you're playing a mirror match and they have armor, it's going to hit the armor first before they does damage. Bloody Baron, they fix it where he doesn't get buffed if the enemies are just going to the graveyard from the round. Dandelion, I did call this one as well. They added a shuffle action to him. Once you use his effect, he shuffles. Going to the monsters character, he's now at 7 instead of a 5, but he can only move 3 enemies instead of 5, so that's a bit more balanced here. Let's see. Succubus is now a 5 instead of a 6, and it makes it where the person you're playing it on kind of gets a little bit more time to mess around with it. Nithril, he's buffed to a 7. He loses his armor, but he does 3 damage now instead of 2. So with the new Frost, I guess that kind of balances out. It'll do 5 damage. Wild Hunt Hound went down to a 4. That's pretty much it for him. Let's see. Alright, so going to scoia'tael, Elven Mercenary no longer is a disloyal unit. so that's pretty handy. Sappers is now a 8 instead of a 7. They kind of did a lot of buffs like that. Dwarven Mercenary, he's a 6 instead of a 5, I believe. The Dragon here, she's a 9 instead of a 6, I think she was. So that's a bit stronger. The dual buff on a Trapper, the trap is only does 2 damage and is doomed. Ithane went to a 5, so that's pretty cool. So they did offer a little bit of buffs of scoia'tael, and I'm glad to see that. It just we'll just have to see if it actually means anything. Now going to Nilfgaard, Ymir went to a 6, so that was cool. So hopefully he'll get more play. Calvé, his effect changed a little bit, so he gets to still get to put stuff on top of the deck. I wanted to shuffle those. Stefan Skellen went to a 10, so I think he's going to be an auto include for reveal, or that weird little deck they had him played in. Leo Bonhart, he now only does base damage for the damage part, kind of like Regis. Clanon Crate, he no longer has the effort tag, and I'm glad to see that gone because effort was bullshit. Savage Bear went to a 7. So yeah, there's that. Shield Maiden lost the veteran tag, and they only do 2 damage. So it's a little bit more balanced with that. I'm glad to see that. And with Helmer, they made him like Tibber and the other card, where they basically go to 23 is the cap for those cards instead of 25. So that was I don't think there's going to be much change with him. He'll still be used. Axeman lost the veteran tag. That's pretty much it with him. So with them losing the veteran tag and changing Frost to where it only damages the lowest units by 2, I think it no longer will be an out of control top of the tier meta deck, but it'll still be usable. Camby, they changed Heimdall from an 11 gold to a 16 gold, so that is more fair for the person you're playing it on. So we'll have to see how that's going to go. Other than that, I think that's all the monster changes and things the card changes they have. They did release this image of what they have, like a internal messaging system you can talk to your friends. So I think that's a pretty cool move. I would like to see them have their own kind of Gwent tracker or Gwent up, because as a console player, we don't have that. And they also released these cool images here on screen now of cards that it was like 2 cards. This is going to be a Nilfgaard card, and the other one I think is going to be a monster card they released card art of upcoming cards that they were talking about putting in the game. They said once the end of the season happens, which it didn't say, but they did mention it, so maybe it's soon, that we're going to get 20 new cards. They said we're going to get a couple neutral cards, a couple golds and silver, so can't wait to see what's going to happen. But that's it for the changes. You guys have a great day. My name is Beast of Ishtar, and we'll see you in the next one.